So, along those lines, Ashley, how can a group member stay engaged and committed when the process feels slow or they're hitting one of those emotional walls and it's gotten really difficult?
Um, well, I feel like they're, whether it's slow or emotional. So if it's emotional, I would make sure to have good rhythm set up. So sometimes it can just feel really discouraging and yucky after group because we've just tapped into all of those feelings, experiences, memory, pain we've caused others or pain we've experienced. And so be mindful of what you do before and after group. After group, you may not want to be isolated. You may not want to put yourself in a vulnerable situation. And so it's okay to recognize those feelings and say, group is really hard right now. It's challenging, it's painful. It's okay to call it what it is and not pretend that it's anything else. And these are the things after group I'm going to do. Like maybe you do something for self-care after group because it was hard. Um, and then the other thing would be stay consistent. I mean, I know this isn't always the group members, they don't always have control over this, but usually when we get into something like this after years of hiding, lying, or feeling betrayed, it's so fresh and it's so new and the lessons are very, very rich. But if we drag the group out, people aren't meeting consistently, the groups are running over time, it can get discouraging. And that's my encouragement to leaders. Like once a week, make sure you're hitting these groups. Even if 3 people show up, keep the group going so that people don't start to lose steam because the group is taking too long. Or, oh, we're not going to meet this week because so and so can't meet. And you've just done all this work in your
Mm.
material. And so if that's the kind of group you have and it's not you talk to your leader and it's not changing, I would encourage you to get into a group that follows more of the Pure Desire best practices because I left a group at one point because I tried to start it. Nobody was on the same page. It was dragging on. And I'm thinking, this is so discouraging and slow to me. I can't even be part of this. So,
Mm.
um, all the things we said above, keep going, even if it doesn't feel great, even if you see no point in it, because there is a point in it. Remind yourself of why you're doing this. You're not doing this to please your spouse. You're not doing this just to check a box. You're doing this because your marriage is important. And so make a list of the things that are at risk. If you continue in the patterns that brought you to group, what do you risk losing? And what it is you're fighting for and working for, and is 2 hours once a week in that worth fighting for your
Mm.
spouse, your family, yourself, your own life. So maybe your ministry, maybe your job.
Yeah. I think of the balance with this of just as an individual to revisit the why, like why you're doing this, why you're in this group. But then also, my group leader, one of the phrases that has stuck with me is sitting in the suck. And if we spend all of our moments in life just sitting in the suck, then we become these pessimistic people that nobody wants to be around. But if we come in of thinking like, no, I'm going to revisit the why, then we are always living in maybe like this disillusionment of what is the reality. And so I think it's like just being able to move back and forth from each one of those. Sitting in the suck became one of those themes because my entire life was avoiding anything that sucked.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all of it, I would just move to like what felt good. And if I experienced any negative feeling, I avoided those things. And so group was really one of those opportunities just to experience the entire other side of the feelings wheel of any of those negative emotions that truly made me feel uncomfortable, to say, I am brave enough now in my story to be able to experience these. And not only was I experiencing them, but I was experiencing them in community with other people and allowing myself to receive comfort in those moments.
And a lot of what you're saying, sometimes when we're feeling all the things and we're energized to make changes, we might have a hyper focus on one thing. Like I'm so upset I hurt my spouse, or I'm so upset I risked my and that's where we're seeing the filter of all of our answers through. Where if we're kind of in this like duller season, it actually gives us an opportunity to take a wider lens at our answers and really say, what were some of my worst moments, rather than being in crisis in the moment. So take advantage of like digging a level deeper and figuring out what else is under the surface besides the crisis.
There's a reality that group has a rhythm to it. And I think when we're getting used to group, it might be new and challenging and different. But maybe a few months in, the routine of our group check-in and faster scale, the material, the commitment to change, it can become almost too familiar. And I think especially for those that have struggled with addiction, part of our mindset is looking for the new and the novel and the next. And so in group, I think there's the twofold side of, one, we're trying to get accustomed to things that are routine in a healthy way, but also it's okay to engage in other outside sources that might fuel our recovery. And so if 1 week we're just not feeling it, but it's like, okay, I'm committed to the group, I'll do my homework, I kind of power through it. But then maybe I look for another book that I can be reading, or I find some articles on the neuroscience of addiction, or I find some podcasts that I can listen to. I, find some of these guests that Pure Desire has had on their channel. I find their teaching videos online, and sometimes just getting new information, new voices can help if we're feeling a little bit of the stagnation routines, partly just because we're not used to so much routine. So it's okay to look for those things that might create a little new perspective and a little new motivation that can get us through that time where we're just feeling a little bit blasé about our healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you might not want to go to group because there might be somebody in there that just like rubs you the wrong way. And I think as a group member and a group leader, I've experienced that. And some groups feel so easy and connected and you're just all friends, and others you're like, this is not my people group. But commit to it because we can get something out of it. And like Nick said, find other things to give you that novelty.